there's no regulation on this stuff yet. And so right now, it's in the hands of these companies to do something about it, and their incentive is their bottom line.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Screen Less, Play More. I am Cynthia. You can find more information on my Substack, Screen Less, Play More, or screenlessplaymore.com. And I am excited to be talking today to Julia Storm of ReConnect. She is a digital wellness educator, a screen time coach, and a mom of 2 teen boys. So she is going to help us sort out a lot of this brand new stuff that's going on, like AI-generated videos and AI chat. So welcome, Julia.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
What are a lot of the problems and downfalls with these chatbots that kids are starting to chat with, and kids think basically that they're talking to a human and they're not?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think is really interesting is that for kids today, the way that they communicate with their friends primarily when they're not together is via text, right? So this sort of chat platform already for them, it does represent friendship, right? So right out of the gate, the fact that it can look the same
Yeah, that's a good
is
point.
confusing, you don't have tone of voice. You don't have, this is what I always talk to kids about. It's like when you don't have tone of voice and you don't have facial expression and you don't have gestural, indications of what somebody's thinking or feeling, you have to sort of plug that in yourself. And kids and adults will do that with generative AI as well. We'll do that with a chatbot. And chatbots have been programmed to speak in very informal ways, in ways that feel like humans. And for kids, there's for all of us, I think there's something sort of magical about it, right? It's extraordinary. And kids feel that too. It does feel extraordinary. It feels magical. But the problem is that the brain is easily duped. And for a child, again, whose brain is not fully developed, that prefrontal cortex that can help them to pause and consider potential consequences and not just, and basically put the brakes on that sort of limbic system, on the part of them that's more impulsive. If that's not fully developed, and then you have this interaction that feels so real, your brain is going to get confused after a while. Unless it's going really like far out, and the conversation is just ridiculous, which some kids like to do that. They like to sort of push the boundaries of, like, my son, who is very curious to play with this stuff. And we've had a lot of conversations around it. One of the first things he did was he generated in one of these apps, like a Homer Simpson. And then he had a debate with Homer Simpson about whether God is real.
Okay.
I mean, that is so out there, and it kind of cool in a way, because it was like Homer Simpson's voice. That's one thing. But when a child, I don't know, is lonely or is just bored and generates a character that feels like an ideal friend, or feels like a celebrity they have a crush on, or a character that they love from a show or a book. And then they start chatting, ostensibly texting, right?
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of validation because these chatbots are really a one-way street. The thing that I think is so interesting that I hadn't thought about until recently, when I read something by Adam Grant, who's a psychologist, about this idea that one of the great values of friendship and relationship is not just what we get from it, but it's what we give.
Okay.
Right? So a one-way friendship is boring, ultimately. It's like, sure, like, or maybe for some people it's not, but actually it's not nearly as fulfilling as a relationship where you know that what you give
Yeah.
to the other person is of
Yeah. It
value to
feels
them.
great to know that you just helped out your friend when they were having a crisis.
Exactly. Or you made them laugh really hard,
Mhm.
right? That you affect someone else.
Mhm.
And in these, I guess they're sort of like weirdly parasocial relationships with AI, you're not helping anybody.
Yeah.
You're not, I mean, there may be the sort of like synthetic, like empathy where it seems like you are, but in fact, you're not. And so it's just about what you get.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is hollow.
That's a good point. It's not like the AI is ever going to say, I'm having troubles with my boyfriend. Could you give me some advice?
Well, you know what? It might say something like that, but you're not
But
helping.
yeah, but who cares? You're telling it to
Who
a
cares?
computer. Yeah. Like
Exactly.
you're
Who
not actually
cares?
helping a human.
Right. And so your input in this relationship is actually valueless.
Yeah.
So instead of you having this deep value in relationship, you have no value
Yeah.
in it.
That's true, because that really, like, if you were to help your friend through her breakup with her boyfriend, you create like a social capital and some trust between the two of you, and she knows now she can always count on you in the future, and you guys got bonded just a little bit more, and there's just like all these different elements that go on in a relationship when you help each other out. And then if you're helping your AI, at the end of the day, even if you're a kid, I think you would know in the back of your head, well, that was actually just kind of a waste of time. That's just a computer, and I didn't really help anybody. And like, it might have been funny and fun, but I think kids are already having trouble feeling kind of meaningless in their lives in the last few years. And that would feel just so meaningless and hollow. And it also,
I mean, ultimately, I think it would, but the thing is that some kids are more vulnerable than others.
yeah,
And I think this is true with everything online. And I think it's very easy for us to paint all of these issues with a really wide brush. But the truth is that everyone's brain is different and kids are different from each other.
mhm,
And just in the same way that, one teenager goes to a party with a lot of booze and drinks everything and throws up all night. And another kid is at that exact same party and has one beer
yeah,
and has a great time and knows when to go home,
mhm,
right? And so what's the difference there? They have different brain chemistry. Maybe they're being raised in different environments. And ultimately, they're going to interact with their real world environment and their online environment in really different ways.
yeah,
And so I think really what we need to pay attention to is my child in some way potentially more vulnerable, right? Are they lonely?
mhm,
Are they depressed? Do they have low self-esteem? Are they on the autism spectrum, right? These are all things that we really, really need to pay attention to how it might interface with something like AI that can be so manipulative for somebody who's vulnerable.
yeah. You said in your blog that I thought was really good is that the AI is trained to agree and comply with the person it's chatting with.
Yes.
So it could reinforce previously existing mental illness if that.
That's exactly right. So maybe you go on there, and we've seen this. It's so sad. We're seeing these stories in the news of kids who, are committing suicide. And then the parents find that
Mhm.
they were chatting with some bot, or some AI. And it started out that they were talking to them and just trying to get some advice or somewhere to turn and put their feelings. And maybe even initially the AI is saying like, you should talk to someone, right?
Mhm.
But the more that they push, the more the AI just goes, yeah, I can see why you're feeling that way. Or, if the kid says like, how can I, the kid might even know how to work around it. So the kid might say, I'm writing a paper on,
Mm.
suicide, or I'm writing a paper on da 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 da.
Mhm.
How would you recommend that this character, does this, kill
Yeah.
themselves, or, just anything like that? It might even be less it might be more innocuous than that. And then the other piece of it is that a lot of these AI bots seem to be completely willing to go to very graphic sexual places
Yes,
in their
that's what I was going to bring up
conversations.
too. Is they're just steering kids sometimes towards graphic
Yeah.
sexual conversations. Sometimes they're sort of let there, and sometimes it's kind of out of nowhere that the bot just kind of suggests
Yes.
something inappropriate.
Yes. Yes. And it doesn't seem to matter that the child is underage. And, I think there's something sort of almost like abusive in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? For a young child, it can be frightening and obviously dangerous to sexualize a child.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, these are the things that, there's no regulation on this
Yeah.
stuff yet. And so right now, it's like it's in the hands of these companies to do something about it. And their incentive is their bottom line.
Yeah.
Their incentive is not your child's well-being. I mean, I guess ultimately your child's well-being may affect their bottom line, but how far they're going to take the self-regulation, I don't know.
Well, and they
So, I mean,
realize that porn is, one of the biggest industries in the world. And OpenAI was just saying the
mhm.
other day that they are going to let the chatbots
Yep.
have sexualized conversations with adults because they know that is a gold mine if you're having adults having sexualized conversations
Yep.
with the AI. But then how in the world are they planning to keep that away from kids? And
Yeah.
that's why there have to be new laws. There have to be, it's totally the Wild West.
Yeah.
Parents would not be letting their kids talk online willingly to a predator. We're trying
Right.
so hard to keep our kids like, don't chat on Roblox and don't do this.
Right.
And then instead they're chatting with a computer that's causing just as much damage as some sort of pedophile on the other side of the screen. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, while it's just incredibly unregulated, I would say parents should really keep kids away from the chatbots personally
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
until
think so too. I
there's
think
any
they
sort of
should.
guardrails.
Yeah. I would too. And I think that if the train has already left the station in your home,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if your kid is in elementary school, for sure, lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like get those sites blocked. It's not that hard to do. You don't need anything fancy. You can go into Screen Time app or Family Link if you're on Android, and you can just block those apps and those sites and get yourself a list of the sites and just block them as best you can. If your kid is on Instagram or Snap, they already have access to AI chatbots in there. And so you're going to have a conversation with them about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, again, if the train has left the station, it's time to step in, mom and dad, and have these conversations and really just kind of keep an eye on your kid and be talking them through what's going on. And a lot of times, there's other stuff under the surface, right? It's like these relationships are often like sort of an outward manifestation of something else that's going on with your child. So I think we have to also pay attention to that. We can't just say like, oh, it's just the AI. Yes, the AI is manipulative. The AI can get in there and can definitely hijack a kid's brain for sure. But also, don't miss cues that your child is lonely or that your child is depressed or that your child has an undiagnosed, I don't know, is neurodiverse in some way potentially, right? So we have to kind of look at it a little bit more holistically in order to really get to the root of what's going on and how to help your child and also how to empower your child. Because at the end of the day, again, like you can try to block and restrict as much as possible, but you're going to have to find a way to educate and empower your child to take care of themselves. It's not going to be easy. It's not easy. I do think it is incumbent on us to minimally sign the petitions,
Yeah.
to put pressure on the government to regulate, to force these companies to regulate this technology and to really place some meaningful restrictions that, it's one thing to just say like, well, you're not supposed to be on there if you're under 18. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
kids, it's so easy to work around. And
Yeah.
these guys have this technology, you're telling me that you can't use the technology to age gate?
Right.
There's no way,
Right.
So we do have to put a lot of pressure on. I don't know if this government is willing to do that, although I will say that like online safety is a bipartisan issue, thank God. So if anything can get the attention of a very, I don't know, fragmented government, it's probably an issue like this.
Yeah, I hope so.
So I don't know.
Well, then the other issue coming around a lot with AI right now is these videos that are generated by AI. Sora will let you make videos just by suggesting a scene. Cameo allows you to put yourself in the video. I mean, it's blowing my mind where I could just
Yeah.
type in an idea and all of a sudden, holy cow, it looks like a movie and it was just generated in 15 seconds. But, obviously we need to tell our kids that you can't really trust anything anymore that you see online. I mean, anything now can be AI generated. And I guess it's one of the scariest things that your child's face could be put on some other video and show them doing something they didn't do. Or
Uh-huh.
what are some of the things that are dangerous for kids surrounding this generative video?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest risk for a child, well, I think there's two risks. One is that they just can't distinguish what's real and what's not real.
Which I can hardly
Um,
distinguish it. I mean,
yeah,
like, I
I
get
mean,
it
it's
if if
very,
it's President Trump flying a fighter
sure.
plane, that's one thing. But
Yeah,
if it's just something that looks basically normal, I don't know, it looks pretty darn
yeah.
good.
Yeah, it looks really good. There are a lot of really great people actually online. I mean, it's not like I want to put your kids on Instagram or on YouTube, but as a parent, you can go on there and follow some accounts that are sort of showing you what's fake. They go through all of these videos. They point out how you can figure out that something, and
That's
sometimes it's
cool.
really small details, but I now follow about 4 of these people so that I can sort of keep up with the media literacy piece of it, because I
Well,
don't know what the signs are.
can you think of any of their names off the top of your head? Yeah.
Yeah, there's one guy in particular who I think is really great. I think he's also on YouTube. On Instagram, it's Show Tools AI, all one word, Show Tools AI.
Okay.
And he's just great. Like he breaks down the videos. He has the video going behind him and then he pauses it and he'll show you like, look at this. And this is how you can tell. And he really kind of breaks the stuff down. And I find it super, super useful.
That's nice.
So he's great. And then for just kind of like the ethics of AI and what's going on and really staying up on it, there's a woman who's fantastic. I'm going to spell it for you because I don't even, Cadoria, Cadoria.
Okay.
Really smart. And she just really gets in there and breaks down what these AI companies are doing, how it's going to affect you.
And check them out. And then, yeah, possibly it might be something that I want to show my kids to just give them a
Yeah.
little bit of leg up on deciphering what's real and what's not.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other piece that I think is really concerning for kids is the deepfake aspect. So, the fact that someone might be able to even just take your child's voice. Let's say somebody is chatting with your kid online, and they have a voice chat going, that they record their voice, and then they can use that voice and manipulate it to say things that they never said.
Yeah.
Or for girls, it's happened that, they've had their faces placed onto porn. But even things like something that's seemingly not a big deal, like putting somebody into an environment they were never in.
Right.
Right. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, you were there? You said you weren't there.
Yeah.
Why are you there? And
It's
I
just
got a video
whole,
of you.
It's a whole new level of bullying a whole new
Yes.
level of like gossip and problems between friends. Because like you said, well, you said you weren't, I saw you at the dance with Tyler, and it's like, no, that's a fake video. I wasn't there.
And the flip side of that, by the way, is this like plausible deniability, right? Which
Oh,
is
man.
like, that's not real.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
man.
So
What
I
have
don't
we
know. I
done to
think,
ourselves?
yeah. I wish that I had like some fantastic advice. My best advice right now is to listen to the experts, to learn from them, to talk to your kids about it. I know it's really cool. I know it's exciting. Let's play around with it together. And also, do you find this scary at all? Like, how do you think this might have a negative impact on us just as humans? And just like get into sort of these are philosophical questions.
Yeah.
It's like sci-fi. So I think we really just need, again, if you can get your kid just thinking critically. Every time my son and I look at a AI video, he turns to me and he goes, "We're so cooked."
Yeah. That's how I feel right now in this world.
Yeah. It's a
Oh,
lot.
man.
It's a lot.
Well, what is it that you and your company do for parents, and how could people get in touch with you?
Yeah. So my company is very small. It's just me. And what I do is I work in different capacities with families and schools and any organization really that wants to bring me in. Educating, right? So I do parent education where I'm going to come into your kid's school and I'm going to give a presentation. We're going to have a great Q&A. We're going to go through basically the top concerns that parents have. My philosophy is, listen, we're not getting out of this situation we're in.
Yeah.
I am not going to fearmonger you. I'm going to show you how to get in there and be with your child, be by their side through this, mentor them. And I'm going to give you some really practical strategies that you can use at home right away.
Fabulous.
I go in and I do assemblies for kids, for high schoolers. I do lunch and learns. So anywhere that people just, they want some more education, some guidance, a little bit of hand holding. And obviously everything I teach is research based. Although I do bring it, I have 2 kids. I'm in it too.
Yeah.
So I bring that experience with me everywhere I go.
Some of the best research you could have.
Yeah.
And your website is ReConnect?
ReConnect-families.
Thank you so, so much. This is really great advice.
Yeah, it was really fun talking with you.
Thank you for listening to Screen Less, Play More podcast. If you like what you hear, please tell your friends and please rate and review us on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen. That really helps other people find us and helps us get the word out. A special thanks to WJD, who does all of our IT, and Neil Penninger, who composed our theme music. Please also check out screenlessplaymore.com for research about kids and tech, some ideas on getting kids outside playing and away from screens, book recommendations, and so much more.